Harding. Welcome to my blog .stampwithelaine.com. I have some really exciting news for you. Stampin Up is releasing the Eastern Palace suite from the forthcoming new catalogue a whole month early. There are two bundles. There's the starting bundle, which comprises the Eastern Beauty photopolymer set, the Eastern Palace Specialty Designer Series paper. There are 12 sheets in a pack, 5 double-sided designs in Tranquil Tide, Very Vanilla, Dapper Denim on the one side, and on the other side there's Lemon Lime Twist and Fresh Fig. 2 single-sided sheets which are slightly thicker, and that's in gold foil, and they're just stunning. The design team took their inspiration from peacocks, and they're absolutely gorgeous. The designs have also been scaled down and are perfect for card making. See, they're smaller and it would just fit a card front perfectly. This starter bundle also comprises the Eastern Gold vinyl stickers. There are 4 sheets in a pack, 2 of each design. 3 ink pads with the new colours, Fresh Fig, Tranquil Tide and Lemon Lime Twist. You also get Very Vanilla note card and envelopes free. Now, I haven't got the Very Vanilla because I ordered the premium bundle and not the starter bundle. So for the premium bundle, we'll take that away. And in addition, everything here, you also get the Eastern Palace cardstock pack. There are 24 sheets in this pack with 8 sheets of each colour in Tranquil Tide, which is this greeny sort of colour, Fresh Fig and Dapper Denim. Some tassels. Now these are Gold, Fresh Fig and Tranquil Tide. There are 12 in a pack. You also get the dies. These are called Eastern Medallion Thinlet dies. They are nesting dies, so they come apart like that, and you can use any combination die cutting. Another word of caution: when the die comes to you new, the sticky tape that it is attached to is quite strong, and it's very difficult to prise this away. Now the die is very delicate, so if you use too much pressure to release the die from the sticky tape, it might bend and you could snap this in two. So I would suggest you tread with caution and just be very gentle when you take it apart. And for the Premier bundle, instead of the note cards, you get the new A4 thick cardstock and a packet of Very Vanilla C6 envelopes. All that for £94, I think it is. So it's fantastic value. There are 14 dies in this Eastern Medallions Thinlets die set. There are 3 nesting dies in each, so this one will cut out that shape, and it doesn't cut through completely with the cardstock, so the petals lift up. So that's this one. And then these are the 2 nesting circles inside, which cuts this pattern here, and this one, which cuts that. So for this one, you've got that die, and then this one cuts that pattern, and this one cuts this pattern here. And then I use the layering circles Thinlets dies to cut out these little ones here, because when you cut it out, it doesn't actually come away from the paper. It's almost like cutting a negative. So if you want it to pop like that, I've put those on dimensionals, as you can see. Can you see that? And you have to use the layering circles or a punch to punch it out so that it's free like this. Now that's not the end of the story, because flip it over and you've got some more dies on the other side. Now this one is the culmination of all those dies together. So I cut them like it was in a nest, and that's the pattern it makes. And this one, I did the same with that. So if you put it against a contrasting cardstock, it will look like this. And then if you use a 2-inch circle punch, you can just cut that bit out so that you have a piece that looks like that. Now these are fantastic itself. I love this frame. So that one obviously cuts that, and then it's got the stamp to match. And then if you nest them together like this, it will cut out this shape. And again, these petals, it doesn't cut completely through, but if you want that to be a free frame, you can nest those together and cut it out, and then I just glued it onto my cardstock. And same with this. So that will cut it free, and that will leave it on the card, and again you've got petals coming up. And obviously those cut out the little shapes. Those are the shapes there. And then these are the shapes that have been actually die cut from what's left behind, the spaces here. And I've stamped and white embossed it so you can see it better. Then obviously I also threaded some tassels here to show my customers. And for the centre of the flower, you can punch a 1/2-inch circle punch in there and a 1-inch circle punch for that. For today's card, I mean, I can't leave you without making a card, can I? So today's card, we're going to be using the Dapper Denim, Very Vanilla and Tranquil Tide. That's the inside of the card, and that's the outside. So to begin with, this is what you need. Your cardstock has been cut at 11 3/4 by 4 1/8. That's 29.9 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters. With the long side at the top, you score at 5 7/8. That's 14.9, and you fold it in half. You need a very vanilla mat for the front of the card, and that's slightly bigger than the norm. So this is 3 7/8 inches by 5 5/8 inches. That's 9.8 by 14.3 centimeters. That's the matte layer for the card front. And then this one in Tranquil Tide, one of our new in colours, is 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. That's 9.5 by 14 centimeters for the front of the card. For the inside of the card, that's also been cut at 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. And in centimeters, 9.5 by 14 centimeters. You need some ordinary scratch paper. I'll tell you why in a minute. What we're using is Tranquil Tide and Dapper Denim, Versamark, an embossing buddy and heat tool, the Eastern Beauty stamp set and the Eastern Medallion Thinlits dies, gold embossing powder, vinyl stickers, 1/8 inch gold ribbon, the 1 1/4 inch circle punch and a 2-inch circle punch, big shot and magnetic platform. Bring in my scratch piece of paper, and I'm going to use the dust buddy to remove the static from cardstock and the oils from my fingers on getting on the card. I've mounted my stamps on a B and D block. Ink up the circles with Versamark. The bigger circle as well, because things always look better in 3s. Normally with photopolymer stamps I would put a mat underneath, and truth be known, I forgot. Now with these photopolymer stamps you can see that these ridges here are quite large, a big gap. So if you put too much pressure on the stamp as you're inking it up, that will pick up ink as well, and it will probably transfer onto your cardstock and contaminate it. So I would suggest that if you're going to ink something like that, just very, very gently ink it up. So literally you don't even press into the ink pad, you just tap, 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 and then straight down, tap, 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 and another one there, tap, 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 and one here. Versamark ink is very sticky and takes much longer to dry, so it gives you time to add your embossing powder. Bring in my heat tool. You see it, the embossing powder turn, so you just want to move it and not stay in one place too long, because it will then flatten the embossing powder if it's overheated. And this is the die I want to use. Say about there. And then top cutting plate, and I'm ready to run it through the Big Shot. So I'll do that off camera. See what I mean now by this being attached to the card. Okay, so you need to be very careful as well not to press too hard, because you might break the seal, which is not what you want. So I'm going to have to do a repair job on that. But anyway, this is your mask, so we want to cut away the petals here. I've zoomed in a little closer, and again this is my mask now, so I'll put it on top. Okay, and a scratch paper and my mat, and then the Versamark ink, and I just want to put Versamark all over this petals. Take my scratch paper away and just put embossing powder on the tips of the petals. And tap off the excess. Use the heat tool and emboss the rest of it. Grab the Eastern Palace Specialty Designer Series paper, and I'm using this peacock-like Designer Series paper, and I'm going to punch out a 2-inch circle. And we're going to glue that with Tombow onto the card. Right there. Next, I've cut off a section of 4 scallops to cover up the Versamark smudge I put there accidentally. I'm going to take this image here with the circle dots. Again, ink up the stamp, photopolymer stamp. You see what I mean? If you put too much pressure on it, it just gets all on the side of the stamp, and then it could smudge. So we'll have to rectify that. Clean the stamp again. Right, put it on your pad and just let it rest, no pressure on it. Pick up the stamp and do that several times, maybe just tap, 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 to make sure that you don't do that again, or I don't do that again. This time the word hello in Tranquil Tide. One and a 1/4 inch circle punch. center it on there and punch it out. I've cut off approximately 8 inches of ribbon, so that's roughly about 20 centimeters. Get some glue dots, use that to secure the ribbon, make a loop. Pop another one on the back. To secure it, I've got a dimensional on the back of this greeting. Pop that on top. Snail. Now I don't know why I did it that way round. Maybe it's because I'm not used to using snail. I usually use Tombow. Then pop that on top. Just a bit of stamping for the inside of the card. Bring back my ink pads. I'm going to stamp with this one first, right in the corner. That's in Tranquil Tide. Forgot to press the record button, so anyway, I've stamped on the inside of the card randomly, this stamp. Back to my old glue, something I'm familiar with. And then glue that to the inside of the card. There you are, card finished. I hope this has inspired you to make one of your own. This is a fantastic opportunity to get hold of the new in-colour ink pads way ahead of time, and it's such good value, and to get some freebies at the same time. What's not to like? Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with more inspiration. If you're watching from YouTube, you'll find the list of supplies I use below this video in the Show More section, with direct links to my online store. They'll also be listed on my blog here at blog.stampwithelaine.com. Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on Facebook, Pinterest or Instagram.